welcome. I'm Chuck Scott. I'm the new Media Center Director, and Professor Perks has asked me to do a little bit of a podcast tutorial. So I wanted to kind of go over a little bit of what kind of equipment we have available to capture sound, as well as a little bit of editing and kind of getting you started on this whole journey into podcasting. As I understand it, the finals are expected by July 1st, so this is going to be very much a crash course. So the first part is I want to go over to equipment overview. So you can listen to this recording. I am actually talking into what we call the Yeti microphone. The Yeti microphone is a USB microphone that goes directly into your computer. Now, this is regular USB, so if you have a USB-C or a Mac that just does Thunderbolt 3 or 4, you're going to need an adapter. But this is what the box looks like as I flip it around. And this is probably going to get you the best sound, right, for your individual recording. As you can tell from this recording, that's going into Adobe Audition on the screen. We also have some task cams that if you wanted to do a multi-person recording all at once, we do have these. They take AA batteries, they take SD cards. You can get 2 XLR mics in there. We also have XLR cords. We have these Video Road to Go's if you're using a phone, so you can use either an iPhone or an Android with the USB-C. We also have these Zoom microphones. So if you are doing kind of like person on the street, this would work okay. And then we also have XLR mics with screens on them as well. These are just XLR, so these won't natively go into your computer like this Yeti. So whatever your capabilities are, really, we've got everything here. So I'm going to keep using the Yeti mic for now. And we're going to use the audio from that with this. So bringing it into Audition, obviously you can see on the screen here that we're recording. It is still even a little bit hot. I've got the gain all the way down on this Yeti microphone. So this Yeti microphone does a couple of different things. You can hit mute, and now we're not getting anything into Adobe Audition. And then we can hit mute again. It's got different patterns. The pattern that you're going to want to stay on, though, is the one that kind of looks almost like a mushroom. And that's going to make it so just the dome is picking up the directional from. So it's cutting off anything on the bottom of the mic. So it's just coming in from the top. And there's a couple of other different settings as well, but I wouldn't worry too much about that because those are going to be more universal when you're trying to catch a lot of sound around the room. So if you're using either one of the task cams or the Zooms, you're going to want to use an SD card, right? So those are going to take SD cards. My laptop happens to have an SD card slot. If not, we also have card readers. So you're going to need to use a USB cord into your computer in order to capture the audio that we recorded and one of the many different off-camera ones, right? We also have these task cams that can both do the built-in mic as well as XLR inputs. And you can have each one be its own input or a left and right as well. And when I say left and right, that means only your left or right is recording audio. And you're going to want to center that once you get into post. But that is a good way to record multiple people at once. So we do have the tools to do that. But if you're just sitting there and recording your own audio, I would highly, highly suggest these Yeti microphones because they're wonderful and they're easy to use and pretty user-friendly. You plug in an Adobe Audition. So one of the things I'll do is let's unplug on the screen. Right. So we've stopped the recording. It's changed. It'll bring it up, not working, right? So let's go back into our Pro microphone. So these are some of the things that will happen in Audition. So if we start talking again, it's just going to take the audio straight from the computer microphone, right? So it's really not going to be good audio. So let's take USB out and let's put it back in. Let's see if this shows up now. Let's hit cancel. Take it out. And let's put it back in, see if this pops up. So we're gonna hit OK, but we're gonna go back in. There it is. So the Yeti stereo microphone back in. Let's continue with a yes. Let's continue. Let's make sure we're not on mute. Test, test. And let's start recording. And now we're back to the Yeti microphone. You can see and hear the difference in that. For SD cards, I've got an actual hard drive here as well. So if you wanted to put in an SD card into the slot, you can input from your media browser as well, or go straight from in here. So we've got a couple MP4s on here. So we can import into here as well. So that's now going to be in there as well. So you've got your files in your file window, while we're also recording the audio in here, which is our test Yeti mic one as well. Some of them, these recorders, you can use USBs as well to connect them to the computer, but SD card and recording directly into Adobe Audition is your best bet to go about it. Cool. So I'm going to stop recording on here for now. Cut. We need to add it into the display capture as well. Nope, not output. I want input. And we're going to cut back to this. So now we've got our Yeti into OBS, which I'm using to record the screen to show you Adobe Audition. So now what we want to do in Adobe Audition is our new multi-track session. So you're going to take all of your audio that you have and put it into Audition. So now we can pull in tracks. Like we've got the test Yeti mic. We want this one to be the top one. And we want this theme song to be the music bed, we'll say, right? And now you're really actually going to mix. This is where you're going to be doing your editing for your podcast and adding all of your levels and layers, trimming things as needed. If you do have video within it, like this theme song, you'll have it represented in the bottom left corner. So to cut things up, razor tool. So we don't want this part of it. V goes back to arrow to select things. And so once we're done stacking our files, making sure everything is good, this is where you would export from as well. For soundproofing, right now I'm talking directly into the Yeti microphone. And ultimately what I'm doing is talking close enough to it so we don't hear much echo, but I'm not in a very soundproof safe room. One of the big things to make sure that you have is soft things, right? So walls, doors, glass, metal, bounce sound off of it. And there's a couple of different ways you can deaden it, right? So you can, as I pull up here, if we go to Amazon, so I can show you the foam for panels. You can get 48 for less than $1 a piece. These are very affordable. They're easy to hang up onto a wall at home, and I'll show in this video as well. I have a little poster board that when I do recordings in my own home, I put that in front of me because where you're projecting out is where you want to deaden the sound the most, right? And so other tools like this spit screen on this microphone also keep it from popping your peas. And overmodulating on really hard consonants like that. And then there's a lot of different ways you can go about it. Anything soft. If you want to look up like soundproofing blankets. Right? Those work as well if you don't want something permanent like foam up. A lot of times what will happen on video shoots is we'll have a blanket around the camera in the back to deaden the sound coming off. And one of the big things, I'll switch between the Yeti mic as well as the shotgun mic on the camera, which is also picking up audio. And you'll see kind of the proximity and why it matters, and specifically the pattern, right? So the pattern here for this Yeti mic, because I'm talking into it from the top, that's all it's going to take. The shotgun mic on the camera is taking everything within the room, so we're gonna have room tone and we're gonna have a lot more interference. While my voice might be prominent, it's not gonna be as clean, and those audio files will call you out, right, Professor Perks? So you're gonna wanna make sure that anything soft really, right? You do not have to purchase specific soundproof blankets. Anything that's nice and soft, a soft quilt, down comforter that you can hang up to deaden that sound will work. So don't think that you have to buy the foam, that you have to go through a lot of painstaking options, expensive options to soundproof a room. It can be less than $1 a square. I have 4 squares up on my poster board, and it works really well to deaden the sound when I'm recording audio in my apartment. So what else do I want to go over? Soundproofing, check your gain. I've got examples of why that's important for overmodulation. And both here, right, because you've got the gain underneath here. It's this one, right? And it's all the way down, but also within whatever specific also whichever one specifically that you're recording in. You just want to pay attention to those levels and make sure that you're not getting over modulated. And you can also edit it from within your system settings in your sound. Deaden the sound. Mic always also matters in terms of how close it is. I know this is a bit of a like run and gun tutorial, but we do have one-on-one office hours next week, this upcoming Thursday morning. I'm available through Zoom. I'll also be using one of these Yeti microphones, so we can go a little bit into more of using it and why it's good. So looking forward to connecting with a lot of you. I know this is a lot to remember, but ultimately audio production relies way more heavily on being perfect than when you have visuals to distract the user, right? And a lot of times video fails because we don't have good sound. So ultimately the best sound you can get, the best product you can get, even when you have visuals to go along with it. So I look forward to connecting with everyone. Good luck. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'm in here all next week for one-on-ones, and anything you need all next week and this Thursday morning. Let me know. Happy to help. Thanks.